again, YouTube. This is Dr.Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited. This is the Object Editor commentaries. I'm not taking any item requests right now, but hey, maybe in about a month or so, whenever I make that announcement in July or August, we'll be on a top comment voting system. But look at what we've started here with the source object of a bodybuilder, and then I've just taken Kappa and put the arms of Kappa right there. We've used Kappa before for like Pikachu and certain other characters that we've created, but I'll show the username who has requested today's item on screen right here. Not only was this requested by a user, but also this is very pertinent for the times because Mario Kart 8 came out recently and the request is for Larry Koopa. But I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to actually make all of the Koopalings, but we'll spend the most time and start off with Larry Koopa right here. You notice that this mouthpiece that's beginning to develop, that came from a T-Rex. So if you just type in T-Rex and then take the leg part, go back a little bit and you'll see where I took that. We're of course taking a turtle shell. The Koopalings are basically like Bowser, but they're little, you know, and so they have these shells on their back, so we're gonna need to get a blue shell for Larry Koopa's back for his shell, and we're just gonna use some dots, and of course the nose pieces or nostrils are just using 2 eyebrows, so you can just take eyebrow for that, but a series of dots will get us the eyes, just as they often do. Larry Koopa does have blue eyes. We'll take this cone shape from the geometry library, or you can just type in cone and paint it white for his tooth. And so yeah, we're now just of course doing his hair. He's got like a cool little mohawk almost hairstyle, so I'm actually taking a horn, you know, the animal type horn, just 2 of them, and then we're gonna use Fang for the other parts. I've actually used bodybuilder before for the Ninja Turtles, so that's actually why I chose the bodybuilder as the source object, so that we could kind of get that chest plate that sort of looks turtle-ish almost. I feel like it fits good for Larry Koopa. Larry does actually have a star on the side of his head, so we'll go ahead and include that of course, but I'm actually gonna shortly probably be running out of stamp space here, so we have to kind of pick and choose the things that we can include. Like for instance, the Koopalings have a tail, as well as they have these little spiky bracelets or whatever, you know, wristbands basically, so I may not be able to fit all of that in. We're gonna try, but here's the wristbands. If you just type in I, they actually do have spikes on them for most of the Koopalings, but I'm again not sure if we're gonna be able to include all of that going on here, so we're gonna make a few more adjustments to this thing. But if you find a way to include more, that's fine. You know, you don't have to tell me about it. See, there we go. We just reached the stamp limit. We're making his other tooth right now on the other side. You could actually probably forego a tooth on the other side if you like how it looks just with the tooth that's kind of facing us right now, and give him a tail instead, maybe with a fang or something. But hey, while we're doing the scripting for Larry Koopa, I'll just go ahead and kind of give some background on all the Koopalings. Of course, the Koopalings, occasionally called the Koopa Kids back in the Super Mario Bros. Cartoon, they are a group of 7 siblings who have been included as non-playable enemies in several of the Mario titles over the years. It wasn't actually until only recently, as in the month of May 2014, that the Koopalings had actually become playable characters in the new Mario Kart 8 game for Wii U. This game is amazing, so please go check out the videos I've done for Mario Kart 8 already. I will annotate to some of them, but you can find them all on my channel here, and there will be more on the way as the months will go by. But anyway, the 7 Koopalings have actually been shrouded in a bit of mystery as to whether or not they are Bowser's children. About 14 years after the Koopalings made their debut, however, Bowser Jr. was introduced into the Mario franchise, and confusion struck yet again. That is, until Shigeru Miyamoto came out in 2012 with a concrete statement where he said, "Our current story is that the Koopalings are not Bowser's children." This officially leaves Bowser Jr. as the only apparent offspring to Bowser, which I am sure that he's happy about, because if they've got child support in the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser would surely lose many of his precious coins. Okay, I know that was cheesy. But I've actually made 2 different Larry Koopas. This is just kind of showing what you can do with the proportions. You know, if you want your Larry Koopa to be a little bit taller than your avatar, typical Maxwell-sized avatar, I should preface that. You know, you can use that one that's on the left, but also there's the one on the right, which I think is a little bit better. It's I like the proportions of that better. So just kind of giving you 2 options there for good old Larry Koopa here. But as I said, we're gonna have all of the Koopalings, so here they are. Check them all out. I know that some of them are probably made better than others, but we'll take a deeper look, I guess, into each one of them and kind of explain. But most of them do start off with Larry Koopa or a kid as the source object, so I will get into that in just a second. Of course, Larry Koopa, I didn't mention this, but he was actually named Cheatsy in the cartoon, I believe. And Larry is actually the youngest of all the Koopalings. But the first other Koopaling that I'm gonna show you here is so heavy that he can actually make earthquakes by jumping. And that's Roy Koopa. I believe he was known as Bully in the cartoon of old, but Roy is actually one of my favorite Koopalings, if not actually my favorite Koopaling. But then we've got Iggy Koopa here, who somewhat resembles his brother Larry, of course with different hair and eyes, but also Iggy is an inventor. His name was Hop in the Mario Brothers cartoon. It's kind of crazy, but you'll actually find out why in just a second. But you can see more so with Iggy here that I've taken the Larry Koopa, and just kind of copied and pasted it and created different parts to it to make Iggy. So supposedly the oldest and smartest of the 7 Koopalings is Ludwig von Koopa. He was known as Kooky in the Mario cartoon. They actually call him, I believe, Ludwig, but I sort of say it like the actual German, pronunciation of Ludwig. So Ludwig von Koopa or Ludwig. But yeah, again here, just kind of using the kid as the source object, using Mora for the arms, M-O-R-A, and for the legs as well, and glue for the stomach right there. So for any of those, like Lemmy here, that's just glue for that little chest part. And so Lemmy actually is the one that I would presume is the youngest, but he's not. He's an interesting guy. He's held back by his IQ, but he still aspires to join the circus. That's Lemmy Koopa, and in the cartoon, he was named Hip. So just like we heard Hop just a second ago, well, this is Hip. So that's the reason that there's Hip and Hop. But okay, moving on. The only female Koopaling is Wendy Koopa, also known as Wendy O. Koopa, and she was Cootie Pie in the cartoon. This is probably the one that I'm least satisfied with as far as my creations go. I used 2 Tooth Fairy wings for the bow up there and gave it a polka dot coloration. And I used Ann for the high heels, for the legs and the high heels, if you just type in A-N-N, Ann. And I didn't have enough stamp space to create her whole pearly necklace, so there's only 1 pearl in there. Hopefully that kind of suffices for everybody. But this one, however, I am really happy with actually how it turned out, and in Mario's lore, it's said that he was named after his grandfather, Morton Koopa. So this is basically Morton Koopa Jr., and he was called Big Mouth Jr. in the cartoon show. But that's another one that I like to use in the Mario Kart 8, but this is one of them that used the kid as the source object, and I just made him a lot fatter and wider, And you can use an eyelash for his eyebrows and for his hair up there, so just take eyelash for that. And the ones that have a different nose piece than the eyebrows, that's actually using a piece of a heron. So if you just type in heron, H-E-R-O-N, and take a piece of the neck, that's actually where I got that for the little nostrils rather than the eyebrow-shaped nostrils. So anyway, I appreciate everybody's attention. Again, please check out the Mario Kart 8 videos that I've done. Again, please wait for the announcement before you request for me to make anything. And so I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing. All wrongdoers there like a spectacle, so you can be the viewer and
down the road of